Hey guys! So, if you didn't know, all of these books that I've been reading are finds from our children's library at First Pres, which has been super cool to spend some more time in there and exploring those books and reading them. And this one that I'm going to read this evening was quite a delightful surprise for me. It is called A Mouse in the Academy, and it says, Story by Jacob Jaminet with illustrations by the advanced art students of Heritage High School. This book was published back in 2013 by the Heritage High School Children's Book Program, which I didn't even know was a thing. And this story was written by a student and then illustrated by over 20 different student artists. So you'll see lots of different mediums of art throughout the book. Some are watercolor, some are pen and ink, some have charcoal. There's just a variety of things. And it's just a really cool compilation, but it was all to celebrate the oncoming restoration of the Academy of Music in downtown Lynchburg, which we now know is complete, even though we have to pause a little bit in all of the programming. But it was a project that I grew up with, essentially, here in Lynchburg, and one that is near and dear to my heart. So I was very excited to find this book, and very excited to share it with you. So I hope you enjoy. A Mouse in the Academy. One day, Tricia and her brother Theo heard a noise that they had never heard before. "What is that sound?" Tricia asked her brother. "I don't know. It sounds like the motors we hear coming from outside, but louder," Theo replied. Being curious mice, they naturally went to ask their parents. Their mother did not know what the sound could be, and neither did their father. "Why don't you ask your grandpa? He has lived here forever and knows all about this place," their mother suggested. They could still hear the noise as they ran across to their grandpa, who was taking his mid-morning nap. Grandpa was an old mouse with a white beard and gray, faded fur who liked to nap quite often during the day. It was one of his favorite hobbies. After they woke him and told him about the noise, he stood up, stretched, and listened. He turned this way, he turned that way, listening and listening. Grandpa could not hear the noise. His old ears were not what they used to be. "We need to get closer to the sound so I can hear it," he told his grandchildren. "If we were closer, maybe I could tell you what it is." Being curious mice who loved adventures, they ran for the stairs and began to look for where the noise was coming from. Grandpa, being an equally curious but much older mouse, walked to the stairs and looked for the sound too. "It isn't coming from here," Tricia yelled to her brother. She was looking under the seats with the cushions where she liked to nap in the afternoon. "Not here either," Theo told her sister. He was looking in the small room behind the cushion seats where he liked to play cowboys and Indians. Grandpa Mouse had just finished coming down the stairs when Tricia and Theo ran up to him and told him they hadn't found the source of the noise yet. "Hold on a moment, be still. I can't hear anything with you two running around and yelling. Let me listen for a minute." Grandpa closed his eyes, opened his ears, and concentrated as he stood very, very still. Tricia and Theo waited and waited. Finally, Grandpa opened his eyes. "Now I hear it. I have not heard this sound in years, children. I hope it is what I think it is. That might be the sound of people." "People!" exclaimed Tricia. "Why would people come here?" "Well, Cheesecake," said Grandpa, who liked to call Tricia Cheesecake sometimes, "people used to come here all the time. This place wasn't as empty as it is now. Oh, I remember being under those chairs where they used to sit, and I would get all the popcorn and candy I wanted." Being rather impatient as well as curious mice, Tricia and Theo wanted to keep searching for the sound, so they ran into a hole in the wall and started to work their way up the ceiling. Grandpa, being a patient as well as curious mouse, slowly followed after them, dreaming of popcorn and candy along the way. Since they had lived there all their lives, Tricia and Theo knew all the mouse ways in their home. Once they were in the wall, they traveled along boards and supports all the way up to the area above the ceiling. Theo and Tricia peered through one of the holes in the ceiling. The floor was a long way down. "What is that long orange thing on the ground?" Tricia asked her brother. "I don't know. It looks like one of those wires in the wall that we swing from, I think." Grandpa had just made it to the top of the ceiling when Tricia and Theo pulled him over to the holes they were looking through. Grandpa leaned over slowly, as old mice tend to do, and saw what they saw. He slowly stood back up. "What is it, Grandpa?" Tricia asked him. "That could be an extension cord that is powering whatever is making the noise. I think whatever is making the noise is on the stage right now." "Do you mean the big play area where we play tag?" Tricia asked her grandpa. Yes, the big play area was actually a stage for people before you were born. People used to come from all over just to perform here. I remember one time... Grandpa Mouse kept talking, but Tricia and Theo were already sliding down wires in the wall on their way to the floor below. Grandpa, being much older, slowly walked back the way he came, talking all the while. Tricia and Theo reached the balcony and ran to the front. They looked out at the big play area, which they had now learned was a stage. They saw people on the stage. One of the people was using the tool to cut boards, which was the noise that they heard. Tricia and Theo watched for a while until Grandpa Mouse finally showed up. He was getting very tired from all the walking he was doing. He would need another nap soon. Tricia and Theo waved him over and they looked out and watched. "Why are they doing that?" Theo asked Grandpa. "I believe they are going to fix the Academy of Music. I think they might reopen soon," Grandpa said in a hushed voice. He was amazed to see people after so long. "Reopen? What will that mean, Grandpa?" "It means that people are going to return here. There will be dancers and actors and musicians and all kind of performers here. And the crowds, Grandpa Mouse was very excited, imagining people in the theater again. "Will the dancers dance like this?" Tricia asked as she spun around on one foot. "Oh yes, little one, all the dancers came here in the good old days. Petrova, Pavlova, Isadora Duncan dancers, and many others came here to perform." "Will there be movies with robbers and sheriffs and cowboys and Indians?" "No, but there will be plays about cowboys and Indians. Oh, we shall have to go tell your parents." Tricia and Theo scurried all the way back upstairs, through the wall, past the holes in the ceiling, and up the stairs until the two little mice arrived at their home, where they found Mother and Father Mouse. "Hello, dears. Did you discover the source of the noise?" Mother asked. "Mom, people are going to come back here. They are going to be dancers and bands," Tricia exclaimed. "And plays with cowboys," Theo chipped in. "Really?" their father asked. "The bands will be back? I think I still have my band uniform from school." "Oh, and I remember hearing about plays and the actors. Madame Butterfly with Lillian Russell, Hamlet with Sir Johnston Forbes, all the greats. Oh, how exciting. Do we know when they will come? Your grandpa should know. Where is he?" Finally, Grandpa Mouse reached the top of the stairs. He was definitely not a young mouse anymore. "Why," Grandpa Mouse said between gasps of air, "I remember a time when I was able to climb all those stairs in a single bound." Grandpa, do you think the bands will come back? Father asked as he struggled to get his band jacket on. He was not a slim young mouse anymore. How would I know when they will be here? Grandpa Mouse answered. Do you think there will be signs on the outside of the building like in the old days? Mother asked. Let's go check, Theo said as he and Tricia started running for the stairs. Yes, let's go see, Father exclaimed as he successfully putting one paw through his coat, unable to reach the other sleeve. Mother and Father started for the stairs. Grandpa Mouse stood for a bit, caught his breath, and started the journey back down the stairs much more slowly than the last time. He definitely was not a young mouse anymore, and he felt it. The mouse family finally worked their way down the stairs, through the balcony, down another flight of stairs, out through the lobby with the large mirror, and through the mouse hole beside the door and out onto the street. Then they turned around and looked at the front of the building. It looks much older than it used to, Mother observed. It doesn't look like much has changed, Father also observed. The building did look out of place next to the other buildings along the street. It was a large, square building. The windows seemed to be either broken or boarded up. The sign was peeling and faded. As they were standing on the sidewalk looking up at the building, Grandpa Mouse squeezed himself through the mouse hole and looked up at the building. The building did not look like the Academy of Music that Grandpa remembered. Grandpa, can they make the building like it used to? Tricia asked him. Grandpa Mouse was quiet for a long time. Finally he said, Well, my dear, it is going to take a lot of work and a lot of effort. It took a lot to set the theater up. It's going to take a lot to get it running again. The performers, dancers, actors, and bands that came here also had to do a lot of work before they went on stage. They had to practice and work hard at their skill before they were ready to perform. Just as they had to work hard for a long time, so will the people who are bringing the theater back. It may take a long while, but if it turns out anything like it used to be, it will be well worth it. And on that note, the mouse family walked back inside, knowing that people would be back. The performers would be different, the shows would change, but the grand academy that housed these shows would be bigger and better than ever. The end. I hope you guys enjoyed reading this story with me, and I hope you celebrate with me in the final restoration of the Academy. And we look forward to it being back up and running and enjoying shows and celebrations soon.